All right. So today, everybody, I am bringing you guys a guest, and we're going to be diving into, before he gets started, we're going to be diving into contracts. And one of the biggest problems in wholesaling is there we go. Sorry, I had my YouTube open on this window and I started hearing myself. So we're going to be diving into contracts today and talking about getting the contract to close. So one of the biggest things that I see with wholesalers, and David, maybe you want to just chime in on this beginning part. One of the biggest things that I see with wholesalers is they get the contract, they get everything in order, and then they don't back out. I do see wholesalers that do that, but they don't back out, but the seller backs out or something falls through along the way. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure, Michael. That's great. Great place to start. I have a little sign that I used to have in my office that said, "This is a simple business," right? we contract low, we sell high. Very, very simple, very basic, nothing complicated about it. It is people that screw this business up, right? Like it's people that, do exactly what you're saying. They ghost you or, pretend wholesalers or wholesale. Well, they are pretend wholesalers who claim to be buyers, and then sellers who don't tell you the truth. No, I own my house free and clear. And we get the title report back and there's, 5 mortgages and a bankruptcy and all of those types of things. Right. Yeah. So there are just so many variables and places where this business starts to get complicated. And we'll talk in a minute, once I throw up some slides. I'm going to shock you with the number of deals that do not close across the country. And, no matter how good you are on the phone or how good your lead source is, which, you guys have the best one out there. You actually used to run all of our in-house PPC. So love you guys. But there's just so many obstacles. And just a lot of deals just never get to the finish line.
Yeah, I have seen, I think that is the most painful thing that I hear in a story is when I'm talking to a wholesaler and they're all excited they got their first deal. And then I just watch it just fall apart.
Yeah.
And so today, guys, we're going to be talking about that. David is going to be diving in. He's going to be sharing some slides, sharing a bunch of value. So make sure, save your questions to the end. We'll be opening it up for questions. He'll be answering any questions. I'm sure I will have plenty myself. So if you want to go ahead and get rolling, David, that'd be
cool.
great.
Yeah, we're going to go. Yeah, I've got a 15, 20-minute slideshow. We're just going to talk about a couple things on, scaling your business and how to do it best. And then, I would much rather share screen. That's what I want to do. I would much rather, give me 1 second. Hang on. I've got to move this over. Give me 1 second. I would much rather do questions and answers than, hang on here. Sorry.
You're fine.
This software is funny. I've got to make sure everything's in the right browser. I can't be using 2 different browsers.
I tend to do that where I'll start talking about something and I'll change windows or something. And I see in the chat, I can't see what you're talking about. And I'm like, oh, shoot.
Yeah. All right. Now let's try it again. Technology. You would not believe I've got somebody who just stands in here to try to help me with this stuff because I'm such a nitwit when it comes to this. Thank God I can close deals.
See, guys, I mean, it doesn't, like you said, it's simple. It's just not easy. Like that's the part. There we go.
Can you see it now?
Yes, we can.
Where is presentation mode here?
Go ahead and hit share.
That's it, right?
Nope. Go out of it.
Oh, you're the Canva expert. I am absolutely not. How about that?
There you go.
Look at that.
We'll do it. And there you go.
Cool. Well, guys, this is our goal. Like Michael talked a little bit about earlier, is the reason that we exist at Easy REI Closings is to help you get more deals closed. As an investor, we'll talk about it in a few minutes. I've been doing this for a long time, a ridiculous amount of time. And, there's just so many things that have to be done to run a business successfully. And I use the analogy that I feel like I'm just juggling flaming bowling pins all the time, right? Just trying to do every single thing in our business. And it's a simple business. The idea is very basic. I can explain it to any third grader, but there's just a lot of bits and pieces, and it's harder than some of the people on YouTube make it out to be, or Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? There's, you got marketing and leads and acquisitions and dispositions, and then, gathering up all the contracts and then finding title companies and working through that whole process, which is a whole nother thing. So, this is what we want to talk about today a little bit, is just how to really close more deals to grow your business. And, how do we put a stop to just the millions and millions of dollars that investors are losing every single day across the country. So here it is. If you guys want to write anything down, and tell me in the chat if you believe this or if you don't believe this or if you're shocked. And that is that 50% of deals are never going to close. 50%. This isn't something I made up, right? This is from the top CRM owners in the country. We're all in a mastermind together, and these guys publish their data. This is also from First American Title Insurance, right? They're the biggest underwriters in the country. They handle more stuff than anybody else. And 50% of the deals that are opened never close. Right. And that includes retail sales, MLS sales. So think about that, right? You did your marketing, you bought the best lead, you're in Coupon Club, you're going out and you're jumping on the phone right away and you're calling them 4 times, you're following up, you're getting that deal signed. No matter how long that took, you've got your deal signed, you're very excited, right? And then you go out and you start to dispo that deal and you're calling buyers and you're doing all the things, right? You're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. Right. And you get your buyer and you get him to submit EMD, and, that deal never closes. Right. Maybe you picked the wrong title company. Maybe your buyer flaked out on you. Your seller did. You lost control of the deal. Or even worse, there was crazy title issues. Right. Because what do we do as investors? We go out and we look for people who have problems. Even iSpeed, you guys are looking for people who are losing sleep over this property today and want to get it sold, which is fantastic, right? You guys are bringing us the very best leads, and we're using them for one of my new mentees is using it. But here's the thing, right? As wholesalers, the more problems that we can solve, the deeper the discount, right? So if we go out and we find somebody who has death, divorce, probate, job transfer, bad tenant, water shut off, all of the things, right? The more of those things we can solve, we can negotiate that price down, which is great. That's what we want, right? We want to get that property, we want to do this ethically, but we want to get it for the lowest price possible because, when we sell it, we all get paid off of that spread, right? This is very simple stuff. But when we get to the other side of dispositions and finding our buyer who are like, hey, Joe, good news, man. I got this property. You're going to buy it. I'm going to guarantee clear title and proration of taxes. And then we get to the title company and they're like, oh, this one has a bankruptcy and this one has dead people. And this one, has a trust that has the trustee won't talk to the beneficiaries anymore. There are all these wacky things. This is why these deals, they're not closing. And, again, you've spent all that time, you've bought the lead, you paid for the marketing, you paid your acquisitions, or you did it yourself, all of these things. So a little bit about me real quick. I know nobody really cares, but I've been doing this almost 23 years. So 2 decades, which is a ridiculous amount of time. I was telling Michael the other day, I'm just too dumb to quit. So done, just myself personally, over 1,600 deals, bought a bunch of properties, rehabbed a bunch of properties, done just a lot of things, been lucky enough to speak on some of the biggest stages in the country. And that's all cool, right? I started off broke and reading Rich Dad Poor Dad and have built an amazing business. But what I realized, right, over the 23 years now, which is, like I said, crazy, I started out trying to do every single thing myself, right? I tell people I had this little badge. It sat right here and it said control freak on it, right? And I'm like, nobody can do this as good as me, right? Nobody's as smart as me. Nobody works as hard as me. All of these things, because I wanted to keep my hands on every single thing. And it took me a little while to mature and to realize, in my business as I grew, that, what, there are things that I'm absolutely amazing at. And every single person on this call and every person who's watching this, whenever you're watching this, you are amazing. You have attributes that really set you ahead. That's why you're in this business, right? And we're all different, or we're all good at different things, right? We're not necessarily this good at the same thing, but we're also not good at everything. And, people like us that start these businesses, because I tell people I'm a wholesaler. My pronoun is wholesaler, right? When I'm driving down the road, even after, shutting our wholesale business down 2 years ago, my car pulls to the boarded up house. Like I want to go talk to that person. But, that's our personality type. We want to be the talky people. We want to be out there making stuff happen, right?
Mhm.
What are we not good at typically? Oh, if you're like me, your bookkeeper hates you, your accountant hates you, your attorney hates you. Like all of them just hate us because we suck at paperwork. Right. So we realized that once we could start to have other people come in and handle those parts of the business that we're not good at, the parts of the business that were just derailing us, that once we did that, boom, that's when our business took off. Like literally, it's like a graph up and to the right, because now I was just focused on the things that really mattered every day. And how we've been able to help our clients over the last couple of years, we've closed $429 million worth of deals, almost $500 million, probably in the next month. This is an old stat from late November, but we'll cross the $500 million mark. So we do this for a lot of clients. And that was over 3,900, over 4,000 files now. Think about that. Think about the expertise that comes with closing 4,000. You do anything 4,000 times, you're going to get good. I don't care who you are. If you go get down in the batter's box for the Atlanta Braves and, go with their starting pitching team and you take 4,000 swings, you're going to hit some home runs, right? You're going to figure that out very quickly. So super proud of that, almost $500 million, 4,000 files. But here's the big thing. We've generated over $51 million in profits for our clients. Verified, we had independent people come in and we'll show them the spreadsheet to make sure that we're here telling the truth. $51 million in assignment fees, novation fees, and that doesn't even include, our clients who are buying and holding and, all of that appreciation and stuff. So let's talk about this. Why do most investors lose these deals, right? And the number one reason investors fail is because they just can't get it to the finish line, right? So even beyond like all the crazy problems that happen, if you're trying to run this business by yourself, man, there's just not enough hours in the day, right? And none of us read Rich Dad Poor Dad to be a title abstractor, right? That wasn't the plan. Nobody's like, yeah, I want to go look at dusty books in the back of the property appraiser's office, right? I really want to learn what book and page means. I've been doing this 22 years and I barely understand it. So all that time that you're spending trying to fight and get things over the finish line, and honestly, it's not your expertise, and nor should it be. You should not feel like I have to be the expert at this, right? But while I'm doing all of that, what am I missing, right? I missed that new deal that popped up on iSpeed Delete, and I didn't grab that deal before somebody else. Or maybe I missed a call that was coming back in from my seller, and now they're mad and they're going to go somewhere else. Or I didn't get to talk to that buyer, or I didn't run that marketing. I didn't do something. And we call that just opportunity costs, right? You're losing opportunities that are making you money. So not only are 50% of your deals dying, but how many deals are you missing by not having an absolute expert come in and do this stuff for you? And, to even take that further, right, Michael, what we're talking about is, imagine, like, I know you guys understand this because you're all out here doing this business, right? That's why I love being on these calls with real investors. But you get a deal and, you buy the hot lead in Michigan, right? And that's great, right? We jump on the phone, we lock the deal up, we get that seller on board. And now we got to, not only do we have to find a buyer, but now we've got to find a title company. And I will tell you the worst thing that happens, we all do the same thing. We go to Facebook and do a Facebook group and we're like, I need an investor-friendly title company in Western Michigan. And, it's always the person who's not doing any deals that answers you, that has no experience choosing the right person for you. So, title companies are a big problem. When we took Nationwide Property Liquidators, when we were doing 1,600 deals a year, not a year, but total, like when we were doing those deals, like we're popping in and out of cities and states all over the country. And it's a challenge. Until I had an amazing transaction coordinator who's now my partner in this business, Heather, like until I could hand that off to her, like, hey, you do this. I'm going to go over here and be the talky guy. I want to go get the deals. Can you handle all of this? Like we were losing deals. Like, and dude, when you're talking about deals, the average wholesale deal is $18,263. Like that's a lot of money to lose, right? You don't want to chance that. I don't want to be literally flipping a coin on every single deal going, maybe this one closes, maybe it doesn't. I want to, I'm the guy that I want to hedge my bets as much as possible, make sure, I'm closing 70, 80% of the time. And we've got clients that are definitely closing in the 70s continuously over and over again. So chasing title companies, sellers ghosting us. My God, again, we're juggling flaming bowling pins, right? I get my seller, I'm all excited, get the contract signed. And I'm like, great. Now I switch hats and I go into dispo mode, right? And I'm on there looking for buyers. I'm doing all things. I'm posting it. I'm emailing. I'm calling. I'm texting. I'm Facebook messaging, all of the things. And then, maybe 3 weeks go by, 4 weeks go by. I'm literally working my ass off to find a buyer. And I get them. Let's just say it's a clear title. I go back to my seller. I'm like, hey, Mrs. Smith, we're ready to close next week. And she's like, who are you? Oh, yeah. We talked like 3 weeks ago. I never heard from you. I didn't know that was serious. I've already contracted with somebody else and we're scheduled to close already. So very important. If you guys want to take anything from this, don't work with us if you don't want to, but make sure you're calling your seller every week. And that's something that we do for you on your behalf, is we make sure that we're touching that seller every single week, over and over and over again. And, making sure that we're getting all the information from them and just literally teeing you up to get these wires just dropped in your account over and over and over again. And, in order to do that, we've got to make sure you have no paperwork mistakes. Right. That is the one thing. I just got off of another Zoom with another group, and we spent a lot of time talking about this. My God, people, the contracts that are out there that some people are just downloading because somebody's passing it around a Facebook group and it's been edited 100 times and people keep adding in all this dopey, stupid stuff that's literally costing you deals. Right. I'll show you here in just a second. We close deals for the absolute biggest investors in the country, some of the biggest influencers that you guys will all know of. And I'm not going to name check this guy, but this guy's company, we told his team, hey, you need to take this thing at this one line out of your contract, take it out. And they never listened. They thought, I don't know what they thought, but it got to a day where it cost them a $40,000 deal. $40,000 for bad paperwork, guys. That's crazy.
Oh, man.
I mean, I'm telling you, I've lost some big deals in my life. The two biggest ones were $74,000 that died at the closing table because this was before I had a good coordinator. And the other one was $105,000 because I didn't keep control of the deal. If I'd had somebody else working it, it would have been fine. But we didn't lose control of it, or we didn't keep control of it. And that cost those deals to die. That's almost $200,000 just in 2 deals.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So here's what I tell people, Michael, if you close your eyes, right? Just close your eyes for a minute. Everybody here that's listening, close your eyes and think of what's the worst day you've had in real estate. I could tell you the 105,000 was a pretty bad day, right? What's the worst day you've had, or if you haven't done a lot of deals yet, right? Like, what's your biggest fear? Doing a deal, it should be doing a deal in New York with 2 attorneys, but whatever that is, right? That's just a Tuesday for us. We have 14, 15 coordinators here in our office in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And all they do is come in every single day from 8:30 to 5:30. And man, after doing 5,000 of these things, it's like the Matrix. You just see these bullets coming at you and you're like, we're going to step over here. We're going to move it over here. We're going to do this little thing here. And we're here to protect you and make sure that these things do get closed. So you're not chasing title companies. You're not having to worry about talking to your seller every week. You're not having those paperwork mistakes. And then we just, before all that, then we get into the title issues, right? Oh, sellers in prison. Do you know how to get a deal closed in prison? We do, because we probably close one of those a month. Seller out of the country. Great, no problem. We do those all the time. Dead people, missing heirs. We were just talking about one earlier where the beneficiary of the trust was the parent's kid, and they didn't have communication for 5 years. And we had to kind of coax everybody back on track there. So those are always a challenge. But here's the thing, right? Everybody seems to think, in so many of these coaching courses and these influencers, they don't understand closings. So they're just they tell their students, just go out there and find the investor-friendly title company and you'll be fine. And title companies, they're very important, right? They're very integral, but they are not responsible for making sure that your deal closes. I want to read that again. Title companies are not responsible for making sure your deal closes. I don't want to say they don't care, but they are not going to fight for these deals and push it over the finish line. I'm telling you, my company has done 5,000 of these or 4,000 of these. I've done 1,500 of them on my own. I can tell you that does not happen. When I first came to Chattanooga, Tennessee in 2009, the investor-friendly title company was First Title Insurance Company on Broad Street. You can still look them up. They're still here. And I would go over there with these contracts. Michael, I'd be so excited. I'd have my contract, right? And I'd be like, bam, putting it on the desk. I'm like, yeah, $10,000 because it's back in 2009. And the title attorney would look at it and be like, Davey, this has dead people, right? Yeah. Oh, you need to get it probated. I'm like, oh, damn. Well, that sucks. And I'd come back in again the next time and I'd be like, oh, this guy's in bankruptcy. Oh, you need to wait for the bankruptcy to be, released or whatever that is they do. And we can't close that. So, title companies, it got to the point, Michael, where we called this guy Dr. No, because he was like our own personal James Bond villain.
That's hilarious.
Right? Like it just felt like 2 out of 3 times or 2 out of 4 times every time I went in, it was no. It wasn't even that we like got into the title work and couldn't solve it. It was just freaking no. Because title companies hate investors. They don't like us. We bring the crazy. They want the easy business. They want realtor business. That's $500,000. Title search was done 2 years ago. Boom, 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 easy in and out, right? It's your job as the wholesaler to make sure these things get over the finish line. It's your job. These assignment fees, these novation fees, this is what feeds your family, right? So if your wife, 2 boys, and 3 fat dogs, this is what gets them fed. You have to be willing to fight for that, or bring in somebody like us who are absolute experts who can do this, literally, I don't want to say in our sleep, but this is the thing that we do every single day. You do not want to leave this to chance. We do not want to flip the coin, deal or no deal, right? we want these things to close. So, when looking out there are a lot of options for you, right? You can certainly do all of this yourself, right? 100%. You can do it. Will you close? Maybe you won't. You will certainly care. So that's important. Maybe you'll be able to do it on your own. You can trust the title company. So title companies, they do handle the title work clearly, but they're not going to manage your buyers and sellers. They're not going to do that. They're not going to make sure your contracts are correct and that you've got all the right clauses in there. They're not going to be looking ahead of what's coming up and make sure that you're being protected. There are plenty of hidden fees, especially with the part-time TCs. And, they're not going to be invested in your business, right? Certainly, my God, there seems like, there's a part-time TC on every corner who took a 6-hour class who now wants to handle your $40,000 deal. My God, some of these people overcharge like you've never seen before. I've seen as much as $2,500 because my team and other coaches and stuff always send this wacky stuff to me. There was one the other day that was like, yeah, I'm going to do your deal. It's going to be $1,200. And every month that I work on this, I'm going to charge you an extra $100. I'm like, what the fuck is that bullshit? I'm like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be swearing. I'm like, what is that? And then these other people are like, yeah, I'll do it for, $1,500. But if it's a creative deal or it's, the blank method, then those are $2,500. Like, that's the wildest thing I've ever heard of. And it's because you've got people who, are doing 4 files a month and they're just trying to get rich off of you. And, that's not us. We're the biggest company in the country for a reason. We're kind of like you guys. We run this at scale, right? We've got everybody in office. We're professional certified coordinators. We are going to call your buyer. We all are going to call your seller. We're going to make sure that, everything that we need from them is ready by the time you're ready to close, because our job is to compress time. Our job is to make sure that these deals get over the finish line. We're going to review your contracts if you want. If you want me to supply you with my contract that I did 1,600 deals with, thumbs up, happy to do it. We're going to look at the stuff that you guys are doing. And I'm not going to run your business for you. I'm not your partner. But if you're coachable and teachable, we're going to be like, hey, man, I wouldn't do that if I was you. And here's why. And then that's up to you to decide if you're going to do that. There's no hidden fees. There's no cancellation fees. And we have amazing resources, just like you guys do, Michael, where we want to be, as invested in you as you are. We want to make sure that you are going to grow this business and get to a point where you are the guy doing 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 deals a month, because that's what we all want, right? We all want to grow. So the way that we're doing that is the Closers Club. I will say we took a lot of inspiration from our friends over at iSpeed to Lead. The Closers Club was designed for, people who are maybe just getting started, they don't, they don't have a full operation. They aren't ready for one of our TCs to be really integrated into their company because, we've been doing this now for 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years. Yeah. Time flies.
Sure.
And the way that we started our company was really, honestly, we were geared towards some of the biggest wholesalers in the country, right? We were coming in to, handle all of their deals. So you used to have to work with us on a subscription basis, right? So if any of you guys have ever heard me speak up and literally until today, this is the first time we've ever presented this in public. You had to, pay $2,000 a month and we would do 5 deals a month for you. And then of course we had a lot of other plans, but here was the problem, right? That left a lot of people out. Right? And it really did. So a lot of the people who, would call us and be like, hey, how can we use your guys? But I only do 1 deal, maybe every month and a half or 2 months. I'm not doing enough to be on a subscription model. I'm not ready to pay that. I don't want to, kind of be on the hook for that. And, after we spoke last week, I sat down with my team and I said, I want to do what iSpeed Lead's doing. I think what they're doing is amazing. I love that they've got the coupon club. How can we come in and not call it the coupon club, by the way, but how can we, really take that model and bring it to market where we can help absolutely everybody, right? Because I get it. Like I remember when I was starting, right, with Dr. No, title companies are scary. Contracts, oh my God, is this right? Who's the assignee? Who's the assignor? Who's the buyer? Like who are, getting all this stuff done is complicated enough. Then I've got to start worrying about how do I get the guy in prison to sign, right? How do I get the lady who's over in Israel to sign this power of attorney? How do we do all of that? And that's why so many people want to come to us because they know we're absolutely the industry leader and the experts in this. But up until today, you had to be doing a lot of business. And, thanks to my partner, you guys should all thank her, Heather. I think she's probably in the chat here someplace. She's like, screw it. We're giving everything to the investors who just want to do 1 deal at a time. We're going to give you everything that I used to charge people $26,000 a year for. Now you guys are going to get it for 1 stupid, ridiculously low price because, and here's why, right? 1, I want to help you close your deal. I don't want that first deal that you do, right, to get lost, not close, and then you turn out hating real estate. You're like, oh my God, this is terrible. Real estate's a scam and whatever, right? And then not stick with this business because, man, Michael, we talked about this the other day, right? Real estate has given me a life that I feel like I don't deserve sometimes. It's been amazing. I've been able to travel all over the world and do a lot of really cool stuff. But if that first deal had not gone through, I might have just gone back to my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Right. And how bad would that have been?
I think there's a lot of people out there that feel that same way. Like they're maybe on that edge right now where they're like working on something. Everything's been a bad deal up until now. And they're feeling that same way.
Yeah. And or they just feel pulled in a million different directions, right? And like, my God, I'm trying to, call these leads but I've got to deal with this closing and I've got this other one that I'm over here trying to dispo and they're just pulled in a million directions and they find that they're not doing anything good. So, the thing that I get asked every so often when I'm speaking out on stage is, hey, can you do my type of deal? I'm like, yeah, we can do that. And we've been able to help hundreds and hundreds of clients all across the country. If you guys want to click that link, I don't think you can click on it, but you might be able to just key it in if you want to look at it. Literally just hundreds of reviews, one after another of, hey, before Easy came into my life, these are the struggles that I was having. This is how they were able to help me. And this is how great it is now. Now I'm able to focus on my business and really grow. And there are people in here who, started at 0 and now we're doing 4, 5, 6 deals a month. There's one in here in the very center. I won't point him out, but he was doing 97,000 a month, which, my God, by any metric is amazing, right? And because he was able to offload all of the paperwork to us, he grew to, I think his top month was 814,000 in 1 month. Now, I'm not saying you're going to do that, but 814,000, right? That's the power of being able to outsource this, right? And, we can definitely talk a lot about, if we could just help you save 1 deal per quarter, that's 4 deals per year. Let's say the average is $15,000. Like we can save you 60 grand a year, right? Of deals that would have never closed. And that's without buying another lead, without talking to another person, without dispoing it, like just deals that otherwise would have died. If I just help you save 1, for $60,000, right? And then let's say you take that 60 and put it back into marketing. How many coupon club deals can I buy for $60,000? Can you even do the math? Right? Like, how many of those could you buy?
Grief.
Like, I don't have my phone in here,
Holy
but
cow! I do need my. I mean, I probably should be
I
able to
wonder
do
if I
that
could.
simple
I don't know.
math. Good
I don't want to pop up
grief.
my calculator because I don't want to kick it out. But I mean, at
2,068 leads you'd be able to buy.
Yeah.
2,068. Holy
yeah.
cow!
So let's say you're terrible and you close 1 out of 50. My God, how many more deals is that? Right? Pay attention, guys. If you're listening to this, this is how the biggest wholesalers in the country move the levers in their business, right? They understand, hey, I don't want to be doing these transactions. I'm not good at it. It's not what I should be doing. You shouldn't be running PPC either. You should be using iSpeed, right? But I need to push this off to somebody who can do this at an expert level and let me focus on the things I should be doing, which is what? Being on the phone talking to sellers, being on the phone talking to buyers, right? Now I'm going to start saving. I'm going to get more deals closed. I'm going to take that money. I'm going to reinvest it. I'm going to go put it into marketing. Put half of it into marketing. My God, you get 1,500 leads, right? Now those leads are going to turn into more contracts. And now I'm doing, $2 million a year or whatever, right? This is how people do it. I'm here to tell you, we've done it for hundreds of clients all across the country. And we normally use like $5,000 a contract. You guys are operating off the Coupon Club, which is just absolutely amazing. And, it's not just clients, right? We've got a lot of great ones who love us and we have a huge community, but, some of the very biggest, names in the industry, they either use us and we close their personal deals. People who say they've got TCs, we are their TC a lot of times. Or they have all their students come to us because they know that we're going to get those deals closed for them. And that's what's important, right? The most important thing for everybody here is making sure that these deals get over the finish line because, right, the better you do, the better your coach does, and everybody can kind of grow together. So that's it. Like, it's a very simple presentation. People ask me to speak on stage about transactions for an hour. It's not that exciting or sexy. I try to throw in some bad dad jokes and spice it up a little bit for you. But man, we give you back your time. That's it. Like, at the end of the day, you are, paying to get your time back so you can spend your time on the things that matter. The other thing I want you to write down, if you guys have not read this book, I should have an affiliate link for it. My God, I recommend it on every call. It's Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time.
It's a good book.
Amazing book. You should not be doing, jobs like property management and bookkeeping and things like that, transaction coordination. You should be push that off to somebody who's an absolute expert so that you can spend your time on CEO activities, right? And that is what the biggest investors in the country have realized, and why a lot of them work with us. So kind of the way this works, the Closers Club, it is your closing system. It is now available to everybody. You get everything again that the $25,000 a year people get. Like a lot of people, we have our own mastermind where we meet weekly. Actually, it's 6 times a month. And, in those weekly calls, it's come in, let's talk about anything, really anything you want, right? Like, I've done 1,600 deals. You have me personally for 1 hour to answer all of your questions, or somebody on my team. You want to talk about transactions, you want to talk about, closings, how to get pictures on your, whatever it is, right? We are here for you, 4 times a month, 2 times a month extra. We'll also bring in industry experts. Like we had Michael in last week. So we do that. We do a VIP office visit once a year, and we're getting ready to move to a really big, cool new office. So in October will be our next one, where you get to come in and spend a day or two with our team, and we run a mastermind just for our clients. Again, this is Heather when she's like, give it all away. We spent tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, I just sent them $5,100 today to build out this amazing CRM, and we call it a portal, but where you have access to watch your deal in real time, knowing that our coordinators are working on it. Every single note, every single entry, talk to the seller, sent over this contract, whatever it is, complete transparency in real time. So you can see everything that we are doing. And then, oh my God, my team's like, just give everything away. So we have like $12,000 of courses that if you go buy them on the website, it's like 12,200 or something, but like dispositions courses on how to do owner financing, how we built our portfolio, wholesale, like stuff that you can use to train your team. It doesn't even necessarily have to be you. We'll review all of your contracts if you want, whatever that is. we'll give you our contract if you want. But then also within this, when you join us, one free transaction. We're going to do one free for free. And then beyond that, if you just want to do one-off deals, perfect. No problem. We'll do all of that for you. But wait, there's more. my affiliate manager, Chloe, added this in at the very last second. We have our own built-in title company. So yeah, we're a transaction coordination company. We have 400 partner title companies all across the country. But 2 years ago, we decided, how can we help our clients even more? Right? How can I make sure more of your deals get closed, even more than, by having us, do the transaction for you. So we opened up our own title company. We are not nationwide. There's actually no completely nationwide title company, but we started in all the big volume states, right? Ohio, huge volume, Florida, Texas, Kentucky, Georgia, Tennessee, where I'm at, of course, is where we started. We've also got Arizona, which should be coming on board any day now. And then we're going to probably add 3 or 4 more each quarter this year. And our goal is to just be in the states with the highest volume. So not only can we take care of your deal any place, but we can literally do it in-house for you in all the states here that are highlighted. So if one of our coordinators is here, Claudia, who's sitting on the other side of this wall, she can literally walk right down the hall to the title company and be like, hey, Michael really needs to close, or this changed. I need to make sure that this gets over the finish line today. How do we do this faster? Right? Because we want to, again, compress time. I want to spin the wheel of your company faster and faster and faster. I want to reduce your cash conversion cycle just as low as we can. Right? So in those states, I can do it even faster for you. You get total control where your TC is actually literally working with somebody in the same company to get that deal over the finish line for you. And, less stress, man. I don't want you worrying about 2 o'clock in the morning, what's going on with your deal. I want you to know that you've handed it over to the absolute, best team in the country to get them closed, because you do pay a lot of money for leads, right? Whether you're on Coupon Club or not, or, wherever you're getting your deal from, like, you spend a lot of time and energy on the phone, making sure that these people get under contract. I don't want you to be, flipping the deal or no deal coin and, it not getting over the finish line. So that's it, man. It's pretty simple. We're here to get your deals done. We call it the Closers Club. We clearly ripped off iSpeed to Lead with the club idea. But yeah, $997 one time. That's going to get you in. It's going to get you all of those things, all of the software, all the mastermind, the office visit, all of those things, bring you into our community where we can help you. And then you can do your deals one at a time at $997. Once you get to the point where you're doing 2 or 3 deals a month, 100% we will have a conversation with you and show you some other options where we can put you on that subscription model. The first level is up to 5 deals we'll do for $2,000 a month. So, we want you to start here. Once you're doing 2 to 3 deals, you should be on that other plan because it's going to be much cheaper. So if you scan this will take you to the page where you can check out right now. You can get this started, and almost immediately you'll start to get emails from us about how to log in and how to upload your first deal. And then I've got a client success manager. Her name is Hannah. She is smart and amazing, and you can book a call with her to get started very quickly. So yeah, that's kind of what we've got.
No, that's great. That's really cool. It's just, guys, actually, you said a lot of points here that I'm going to drive into, because so many people just miss out on this business because they're going constantly after the deal, after the deal, after the deal. And I talk about this a lot, where you get the contract and in your mind, that was the finish line.
Yes.
And so you kind of just let it go. You think, oh, I got a deal. And I always tell people, don't ever say you got a deal when you get a contract, because it's not a deal.
No,
it's not.
And that happens, right? You're absolutely right. They ring the bell, they hit the gong, order the jet. We're going to be rich. Like, I've been there.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. My acquisitions team got 9 contracts in Eastern St. Louis, which don't ever do that, by the way, or a bunch in Birmingham or Memphis. Like, there are definitely some shithole places, but yeah, you think that's a deal, and it's not a deal until you get it over the finish line. And I'm here to tell you, it's literally, I've decided I'm going to make a coin that says, some version of Deal or No Deal, where literally you're flipping the coin, and it's only 50% chance that it's going to close. That sucks. That's terrible.
That does. And to think that you're already partying and ringing that gong. And I've been in those companies. I've been there where the things just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And
We're all
Oh,
the eternal
oh,
optimist. We all,
yep.
try. I'm the worst guy. All of us, like every entrepreneur, we're the worst, right? Because we're all such visionaries, and we believe everything's going to happen. I drive my team crazy with it, but yeah, I mean, and then again, 50% of the time, no matter what you do,
Yep.
because
It doesn't
you're not
matter.
a title expert. Nobody, hatched you to be an abstractor. It's just
Yeah.
not the way that it
Yeah.
works,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
important to us, just like you guys, that, we're here to grow with you for the long term. That's why we started the Closers Club. We want to make sure that, really I want your deals to close, right? Especially the
Mhm.
first ones, because it breaks my heart when I talk to people and they're like, yeah, I got out of real estate because it sucked, and I two deals didn't end up closing, and I don't know what happened, and now I went back to Walmart or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. And that's you guys have to remember that, the goal is the deal, and the deal is when everybody gets paid.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the deal. And time, I liked how you talked about time
Hmm.
and, doing things that are the higher leverage with your time, because that's what the CEOs are doing. That's what
Yeah.
the guys who are scaling are doing.
Hmm.
And then you also mentioned being coachable. I talk a lot about that.
Yes.
And I like how you guys give advice, because you guys have so much experience in this space.
Yeah.
And I always say that with lenders. Like, I always tell people, go with a lender that's going to look right at you and say, this is a horrible deal.
Don't do
Like,
this. Yeah.
don't do this. Like if they will close on every single thing, horrible or not horrible,
Hmm.
then they're not your partner in this business.
Right.
And
Right.
so just super, super cool stuff. But yeah, so a couple questions I
Yep.
have. And then if anybody wants to pop up any questions in the chat, go ahead and do that. So you talked about having your own title company. You
Yeah.
talked about, working with other title companies. Are you open to work with any title company?
Sure.
If somebody already has one, they have
Yeah.
their favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I would say 90% chance we're probably already working with the best title companies out there. But yeah, if you come to us and say, hey, I'm using Premier Title in Boston. Like,
Mhm.
okay, great, cool. Yeah, happy to do that if you've got a great relationship with them. Yeah, definitely happy to do that. I will tell you what happens a lot of times though, is people are like, yeah, these people are the best. And we do a deal or two with them and we're like, bro, they ain't the best, man. Like,
Yeah.
you're working way harder than you should. These people, like, I get it. That may be your only experience. You've only ever had butterscotch ice cream and you think that's the greatest. I'm like, bro, let me introduce you to chocolate or strawberry or vanilla. let me just show you what it can really be like. But yeah, absolutely. If because that's how we built up 400 title companies. Like, we knew a lot of them, but a lot of times our clients have came in and said, hey, I'm using this great guy in Hawaii, and we're like,
Mhm.
yeah, they are great. We're going to bring them into our
Yep.
network and make sure they're on our roster. So yeah, for sure. Again, our goal is to make sure these deals close. But here's the other thing, and this is one thing I caution investors about all the time. Our team does the same thing. Is the most important thing is keeping control of your deal,
Mm.
right? We see
That's
it
good.
time and time again where clients, non-clients, hey, I let the realtor pick the title company, or I let my buyer said I had to use his title company, and then now it's the buyer's title company and it's his drinking buddy and or attorney or whatever. And, it's like, well, wait a second. Michael's making $82,000 on this deal. You don't think they're calling their buddy to be like, dude, you could be buying this thing for $82,000 less? Of course they are.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's always best to use a third party independent title company, or definitely the people looking out for you. Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's for us, that was very important. There were a lot of things at the very beginning when Heather and I were building the company, to make sure that we were here to be advocates for our clients, right? In the same way that, our first coordinators worked for us, of course, right? And I'm kind of a dick, so I wanted to make sure it was working out. The title company cost, great question. Title company costs are really mostly set by the state. So yeah, you do pay us to be your transaction coordinator. You get all of the bonuses. But title companies are, the state actually sets the fees for a title company. There's like a closing fee that I don't even know what Florida is, but I could be between like $250 and $350, right?
Mhm.
We are pretty much right smack in the middle. We don't want to be the cheapest person, because I want to make sure I've got great people here to service you, because service is the most important thing for us. But we're never going to be the highest person, Sean. The most important thing for me is making sure that your deal gets over the finish line. Also, we'll teach you on that $997. I'll show you how to offset that and have your buyer pay it on your contract. It's called a transactions fee. And, we'll make sure that, we're taking care of your buyer, because ultimately in a wholesale deal, your buyer is probably going to pay that fee anyways. So for us, great question. I love it. This is the thing for us. I don't ever want to overcharge you, but I can't be the cheapest and give you the best service. Right.
Right.
So you can always get 2 or 3 things, right? It's service, speed, and quality. Or is it service, speed, quality? Like, you can have 3 things, but you can't have all 3 at once. So for us, we want to be, the best priced and the best service.
Awesome.
So anyways, so, yeah.
And I think a good takeaway there too, another thing that you had said, is that title companies don't fight for you.
No.
And a lot of people,
they want to jettison you as fast as they can and go back to the easy deals.
Yeah, because I've seen title companies work on both sides. I've watched them work on the real estate agent side when it's a super easy boom, boom, boom. That's really what most title companies are set up for. And investors don't always get that, especially wholesalers, because they come in and they're like, title is so hard, but then they'll be talking to an agent. Agent's like, well, it's not that hard. I've never dealt with a big issue.
Well, and people sometimes hold these title agents, like attorneys and doctors, up on a pedestal. I'm like, we talk to them every day. Some of them are just banana heads. They've been in the business for 3 weeks, and you think because they work at a title company that they're great. But to kind of go back to where I was, some of the things that were important to Heather and I when we started the business was, I want to make sure these transaction coordinators from day one are fighting for you. Right. That they're your advocate. They're out there pushing these title companies, push them a little hard. Like, I've gotten calls where it's like, well, your coordinator was mean to my person. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. We won't do that again. Great job. Right. Get these things over the finish line. So, our coordinators are all incentivized by the number of deals they close and how fast they close and their closing percentage and all of that. So that that you can trust us to make sure that these deals are actually going to get closed. We wanted to have a portal, a place where, like, now we're giving it to you for free. So I hope you all appreciate it. We spent a lot of time and money on it, but we wanted to make sure that, if you did wake up at 2:00 in the morning on a Tuesday and go, oh my God, what's going on with 123 Main Street? Oh, I can log in, 14 pages of notes, because I will tell you one thing about our coordinators. They are not me and they're not you. These are detail-oriented people. These are people that love making notes and love spreadsheets and love, following up on things and making sure that every single task is, bro, I have these coordinators. Listen to this. They have 0 things in their inbox at the end of the day. I listen to them complain about, oh, I came in the morning, or, I left and there was 5 things still in my inbox, and they're like depressed about it. I'm looking at my computer. I don't think you could see it on the screen share. I have 31,143 emails in my box, right? Out of control. These coordinators, we personality test them to be the detail-oriented people. Like, I am telling you, they will grab onto these deals and fight for it like a dog in a bone to make sure that it gets over the finish line. So
that's awesome. I wish that I could end my day with 5 things, because if I end my day and I have it empty, and I've done this, guess what happens 20 minutes later? I've got more than 5 things, and I'm like, shoot, I can't catch up again. But that's awesome.
Well, and here's why. One, it's their personality type.
Exactly.
Heather does a great job and has built an amazing team where our culture is client first. But have you ever seen this? I'm dating myself now, but the I Love Lucy, where it's her and Ethel, and they're taking the pies off the conveyor belt, and they're like,
oh yeah. I know that
pie everywhere. Well, that's our business, man. We bring in like 30 contracts a day. Like, if I'm not getting your old stuff out, like, I won't have room for the new stuff. And so we run a very, very, very efficient operation where we have this down to an absolute science, right? Like, this is not me, because I'm a banana head like everybody else that's listening to this. This is Heather and all of her managers and their team, that they can do that. And dude, if you can do 4,000 deals in 18 months, you've got your shit together, right? Like, I'm just the guy out here making promises and being on camera. I am definitely not the person that actually runs all of that part of the operation. It's amazing. And as good as I used to think I was at all this stuff, my God, they've taken it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. And I think there's a really good takeaway for everybody there. As they walk away, guys, surround yourself with people that are better than you at the
Yes.
things that you're doing, because you can't do it all. We've already talked about that. You
Yeah.
can't do it
Well,
all.
you can, but you're going to do.
Well,
maybe
you can, but
maybe
you're going to be really bad at.
Yeah,
most.
you're going to be bad at it. You're going to hate it. You're not going to
Yeah.
ever scale. You know, it's impossible.
And half of it will sit in your inbox. You'll have
Yeah.
30,000 messages.
31,143 emails.
Exactly.
Sitting in there right now.
And so that's the thing, is surround yourself. And most people think, oh, well, I need to hire. Well, you may not be at the stage where you can hire.
Yeah.
Well, that's where companies like this come along. So that's
Right.
where David comes along with his team, is they become your team.
Yeah.
And that's where iSpeed to Lead comes along. You don't need to have this whole marketing operation.
Oh my God.
You can just have your leads coming in, and you can focus on acquisitions, dispositions. Done.
I was telling someone earlier, and I might have told you this the other day, when I was first really scaling up and going nationwide, I was in Phoenix. I think maybe at the event where we had met the first time, but I'm sitting there with my computer, and one of my very best friends is next to me, and he's got his computer and he's got PPC, Google AdWords or some nonsense opened up. And he's like, hey man, I'll teach you how to do PPC. Will you come do some dispo training? I'm like, yeah. His name is Corey. I'm like, that sounds great. And
I know Corey.
Yeah, love him, right? One of my best friends. Dude, I was like 8 minutes in watching him do this and my eyes glazed over. I'm like, there's zero chance I'm doing this. Zero chance. So you know who I hired? Freaking iSpeed to Lead. And I made sure that you guys ran my account for the next 3 years, and we absolutely crushed it. So dude, this isn't just a lesson about transaction coordinating.
Yeah.
This is bookkeeping and accounting and, PPC and property management. Like, as you grow your company, you are going to have to, outsource these things. And when we say outsource, 22 years ago, I had to bring in an in-house person. Like, I would have had to have an in-house marketing guy or girl for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. I had to have a coordinator for $60,000 or $70,000 a year that had experience and understood how to get my deals closed. And I would pay 70 to make an extra 300,000. Right. I would have to have an in-house bookkeeper. You don't have to do that anymore. The world has changed. Now you can literally go out and for $9.97 have the best transaction coordination company, or, a couple $100 have the best bookkeeper out there. It is ridiculous. And if you don't do it, you're just not going to grow. You're not going to be serious about this business. So that's why, we went out there and, my management team, we sat down, we looked at it like, okay, how can we what's the minimum we can do this for, where we can just give every absolute thing away? And, the reason for that is I want to grow your business. I want you doing, 3, 4, 5 deals a month. We'll move you up to the next plan and then to the next one. And, I want to get you up there where our elite customers are at, that are doing 20 plus deals a month. And we have a ton of those people.
Yeah. So make sure you guys scan the QR code. I also dropped into the chat. I dropped the direct link.
Oh, cool.
So yeah. So make sure you guys click on that or scan the QR code. Either way, check it out, because this is something, if you're planning on making deals, this is something you're going to need to do.
Yeah. I don't want you to lose that deal.
Yeah. You don't want to get distracted by doing all the other stuff when you could be focusing on the one thing. And that's kind of the thought to go away, I think, with, is just, if you focus all your time on what you do good at, and you allow other people, and like David said, you can outsource it nowadays. You don't have to hire a whole entire team. Yeah. You could literally be you and outsourced every other piece along the way, and maybe partner with somebody for dispo if you're acquisitions, or vice versa. But make it easy on yourself. Stop making it so hard.
That's, I meant to say this earlier, but a couple of things that people will always say to us after they start working with us, usually about 30 or 60 days, maybe 90 days after, they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize how much time I was spending on this. Because it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? Walking through quicksand on the beach. It's like, 1 hour call here, a 30-minute email, a 15-minute, I got to run back over and talk to the seller, and I got to get this document signed. I got to coordinate. And, you're like, it happens in these small chunks. So it's like a gnat. You're like, oh my God. And then, so that's the first thing. And then the second thing I hear all the time is, I didn't realize I didn't have to do this. My coach didn't tell me I could hire somebody else. Like, you mean you'll do all of this for me and I don't have to do it ever again? I'm like, never again. Yep. Never again do you have to, worry about this type of stuff. You can be as involved or uninvolved as you want. You can trust that after $500 million in closings, we are going to do everything humanly possible to make sure your deal closes, you get paid, and that you grow your business, and that you're in this for the long term.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, David. I know everybody appreciates you being on today and taking this time with us. So make sure you guys scan that or check out the link in the note, not in the notes, but inside of the chat. And thank you guys for joining us today. You guys all have an amazing day, and go after that next contract and make sure you get with David once you get that contract so they can help you get it closed. Thanks,
Awesome.
guys.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.